Nearly 3 decades have passed since the night Diana, Princess of Wales, died, yet the questions surrounding her life and her final days have never truly disappeared. Whenever a member of the Spencer family speaks publicly, the world's attention once again turns to the woman who changed the history of the British royal family. For many years, most of Diana's relatives chose to remain silent. They rarely appeared before the media, and even more rarely commented on the controversies that continued long after her death. For that reason, any statement from the Spencer family has always attracted particular attention. This time, however, it is not simply the fact that one of Diana's relatives has spoken out that has drawn interest. What has sparked public discussion are remarks said to offer further insight into the chaotic days following the tragedy of 1997, as well as the divisions within the family that were never entirely healed. If accurate, these accounts could lead many people to view Princess Diana's story from a completely different perspective. In the early hours of 31st of August 1997, while most of Britain was still asleep, urgent telephone calls began reaching the Spencer family. At first, the information was extremely fragmented. Some reports suggested that Diana had only been injured in a car accident in Paris, while others described her condition as far more serious. For many hours, confusion overshadowed everything. No one knew exactly what had happened inside the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, nor could anyone confirm whether the princess would survive. News reports changed from minute to minute, leaving hope and despair intertwined in the minds of her loved ones. For the Spencer family, the most painful aspect was not only receiving the news so suddenly, but also the helplessness of having to follow developments through television broadcasts and international news agencies. While they were still trying to obtain accurate information, millions of people around the world had already learned about the accident, while the media continued reporting details that had yet to be verified. When official confirmation of Diana's death was announced, the shock almost overwhelmed the entire family. Only hours earlier, she had been one of the most famous women in the world. Now her name had become the focus of one of the biggest news stories in the history of modern journalism. Diana's relatives later spoke on several occasions about the pain of seeing the tragedy so quickly transformed into sensational headlines. Instead of having the opportunity to grieve like any ordinary family, they had to watch every moment of the tragedy being broadcast and analysed on television screens around the world. It also marked the beginning of countless questions, debates, and doubts that continued for many years afterwards. It is precisely these unresolved issues that have kept the death of Princess Diana a subject of discussion to this day. Immediately after Princess Diana's death, many questions began to emerge from the public. How could such an accident have happened under those circumstances? Had everything that occurred that night truly been explained in full? These questions gave rise to countless theories that continued for decades. Investigations by the French authorities, followed by the official British inquiry, concluded that the crash resulted from a combination of factors, including excessive speed, driver Henry Paul being under the influence of alcohol and medication, and the pursuit by photographers. This remains the official conclusion maintained by the investigating authorities. However, that did not mean every doubt disappeared. Some members of the public continued to believe that certain aspects had not been satisfactorily explained. Over the years, theories and rumors continued to circulate, ensuring that the story of that fateful night never truly came to a close in the minds of many people. For the Spencer family, the priority never appeared to be encouraging speculation, but rather protecting Diana's memory from an endless wave of conjecture. Several members of the family have shared that what hurt them most was seeing their private grief repeatedly become the subject of public debate. Those who were close to Diana have also repeatedly recalled that during the final years of her life, she spoke openly about her loneliness, the pressures of royal life, and the constant attention of the media. These reflections were recorded in numerous interviews and official documents, becoming an inseparable part of any discussion about her life. For that reason, whenever Princess Diana's story is revisited, the debate often extends beyond the cause of the crash to a much broader question. whether she received the protection and understanding that someone in her position deserved. It is a question that continues to be asked, even though the answer is unlikely ever to satisfy everyone. After Princess Diana's death, Althorpe House, the Spencer family's ancestral estate in Northamptonshire, became more than simply the Spencer family home. It became a symbol of remembrance and a place of comfort for those around the world who continued to admire her. In accordance with her family's wishes, Diana was laid to rest on a small island in the middle of the Oval Lake, deep within the estate. This decision was intended not only to protect her privacy, but also to prevent her final resting place from becoming overcrowded or disturbed by media attention. Her family hoped that Diana would finally find the peace that had so rarely been part of her life. Every year, thousands of people from many different countries continue to visit Althorpe. They bring flowers, handwritten letters, and small gifts as a way of expressing their gratitude to the woman once known as the People's Princess. Many never met Diana in person, yet still feel that she touched their lives through her compassion and tireless humanitarian work. For the Spencer family, preserving Althorpe has never been solely about maintaining a historic estate. More importantly, it is about preserving the memory of a daughter, a sister, and a mother. Every room, every tree-lined path, and every photograph displayed in the exhibition reminds them of Diana before she became a global icon, a young woman full of warmth, devoted to her family, and deeply committed to helping those most in need. Over the years, the family has repeatedly emphasized that they hope the public will remember Diana for more than the tragedy of 31st of August 1997. What they wish to preserve is the image of a woman who used her position to raise awareness of HIV/AIDS, campaign for the elimination of landmines, and bring comfort to people suffering around the world. For many years, the world knew Princess Diana through her radiant smile in front of the cameras. She appeared in hospitals, embraced HIV patients at a time when many people were still reluctant to have physical contact with them, walked through minefields to urge the international community to take action, and spent hours talking with children suffering from serious illnesses. Those images led many to believe that she was always strong and full of confidence. Yet behind the camera lights was a very different person. Through interviews published during the final years of her life and in verified official records, Diana repeatedly acknowledged that she had endured periods of profound loneliness. Although she lived within one of the world's most famous families, she still felt isolated amid the strict rules and constant pressures of royal life. There were days, she said, when what exhausted her most was not the overseas tours or the demanding schedule, but the feeling that no one was truly listening to her. She longed to be treated as an ordinary person, rather than as a symbol expected to appear perfect before the public. Yet it was those painful experiences that helped shape the woman the world came to admire. Diana often said that if she had never known pain herself, she could never have truly understood those who were suffering. That is why, whenever she visited hospitals, orphanages, or conflict zones, she did far more than shake hands or pose for photographs before leaving. She sat down, listened to people's stories, and devoted time to every individual she met. The most precious part of Diana's life was always her two sons, William, Prince of Wales, and Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. In many public statements, she expressed her hope that they would grow up with compassion for those less fortunate. She regularly took William and Harry to homeless shelters, hospitals, and charitable organizations from the time they were very young. To Diana, these were lessons that no school could ever teach. Looking back on her life, many people have come to see Diana's journey as one of growth through adversity. From a young woman uncertain of her place upon entering the royal family, she gradually became one of the world's most influential humanitarian figures. The hardships she endured did not make her cold-hearted. Instead, they deepened her appreciation of compassion and kindness. Since the relationship between Prince William and Prince Harry became strained, many people have turned their attention to the Spencer family, the side of the family from whom both brothers received love and support throughout their childhood. For William and Harry, the Spencer family are not simply their mother's relatives, but also a bridge to memories of Princess Diana before she became a global icon. At Althorpe, the brothers enjoyed rare private moments to remember their mother, away from media attention and the pressures of royal life. Diana's sisters, particularly Lady Sarah McCorquodale and Lady Jane Fellows, have long maintained close relationships with both nephews. Although they rarely speak publicly, they have consistently been regarded as family members who strive to preserve unity and prevent personal disagreements from becoming matters of public controversy. Many royal commentators believe that the Spencer family have always hoped William and Harry would one day find common ground again, as that is likely what Diana herself would have wanted most. During her lifetime, she frequently emphasized that her two sons should always support one another, no matter where life might lead them. One moment that gave many people hope for reconciliation came in 2024, when William and Harry both attended the funeral of Lord Robert Fellows, the husband of Lady Jane Fellows, and a man who had long played an important role within the family. Although there was no public reunion or display of closeness, their joint attendance was widely seen as a sign that, at significant family occasions, respect for their loved ones still took precedence over their differences. To this day, the distance between the two brothers remains a source of sadness for many people. But for the Spencer family, what seems to matter most is not public statements, but the hope that with time, memories of Diana will become a bond that brings them together, rather than a reminder of what has divided them. For in the end, Princess Diana's greatest legacy is not only her humanitarian work or the affection of millions around the world. It is also the two sons whom she always hoped would continue moving forward together, just as they once held each other's hands through the greatest tragedy of their lives. Nearly 3 decades later, the name Princess Diana continues to hold a unique place in the hearts of millions of people around the world. But to the Spencer family, she has never been merely a global icon or the people's princess. Before all those titles, Diana was, above all, a daughter, a sister, and a mother whom they have always loved. Perhaps that is why, whenever a member of the family speaks publicly, what they seek to protect is not theories or long-running controversies, but the truest image of Diana. They hope people will remember her for her kindness, her compassion for the vulnerable, and her determination to bring about positive change, rather than solely for the accident that claimed her life. The years have passed, yet that legacy continues through humanitarian work, through William and Harry's reflections on their mother, and through the remembrance of people who never met Diana in person, but still regard her as an inspiration. Perhaps that is what matters most, not the unresolved speculation, nor the disputes that have continued across generations, but ensuring that Diana's memory remains forever associated with kindness, compassion, and the love she showed to others. Because sometimes the greatest legacy a person leaves behind lies not in what people say about them after they are gone, but in the way they continue to inspire the world for many years afterwards.